Hey guys, welcome back. It's your girl Toya T, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I haven't made a video since earlier this week, I think. Oh, don't mind me. I'm not trying to be violent. It is Thanksgiving, and I'm actually cooking a leg of lamb. So let me put this down before I get flagged or something. Anyway, I was meaning to, and I think this is a great day to start off, a new series on my channel called the Happier series, and I think I have talked about this a couple times about some of my issues earlier this year with anxiety and depression and just being plain up miserable, and so I thought that it would be a great time, since I'm not in that space, to start a series called Happier, and it's inspired by a painting. No, it's like a piece of art that I have in my room that I got from Marshall's that is all about, all these different things that you should do, suggestions of what you should do to live a happier and fuller life. And I thought that I would use the sayings on it to have something to talk about for each week. So this is going to be a weekly thing until I go through the entire list that's on the piece of art, which I'll show a picture of. So the first one that's on there is to find a passion and pursue it. And I completely, truly believe this, and I've talked about this a couple times, about if you're not happy with what you're doing and it just makes you absolutely miserable, like I was miserable, that maybe there is something wrong with that thing and maybe it's not exactly what you need to do. And you should find what actually makes you happy and do that. So I would highly suggest that, and there's several ways you can do that. If it's a job, if it's a side job, if it's a hobby or something that you're passionate about and makes you, makes your heart flutter and makes you excited and you are excited to do it, then go ahead and do that. So for me, I've personally been doing a lot of arts and crafts, which is weird because I don't think I ever really as a child was really into arts and crafts, but I did like to put things together. So I've been doing a lot of projects around the house, and another thing that I like to do is I like to eat. I think I've talked about this several times, and it's why I'm also have a fitness journey that I have to talk about, but I haven't done that video for this week yet. So I love to eat, so I've learned to cook some of these foods that I like to eat, and I also am a picky eater, and I also get bored with food very easily, so I try to cook new things all the time. And then for Thanksgiving, as I just said now, I don't actually like turkey. I don't like turkey at all, but we're not having Thanksgiving here, so all I have to do is cook one dish. And we're going to my cousin's house, and I was like, you know what, this is a great time for me to try out making leg of lamb. I've made rack of lamb several times for Christmas and Thanksgivings, and I just didn't think it would make sense to try to do a rack of lamb for a large group of people. So I was like, you know what, let me do a leg of lamb. I've never done it before. I don't think I've ever had leg of lamb myself, but I love lamb. So I'm tackling that, and that's something I'm absolutely passionate about, is trying different recipes and just eating well. I mean, why do I have to have turkey like everyone else? I don't like turkey and go there, not even eat the turkey. Everyone's having bird for Thanksgiving, and I'm going to be feasting on a leg of a lamb. It's like biblical times, leg of a lamb. So, I mean, those are the kind of things that I try to do to just keep me going, and I think it's absolutely just wonderful to find new things that you are really passionate about and just pursue it. I mean, if you don't like it or if it doesn't work out, you can always stop. And if it's coming to a job, I mean, there's no harm of, I'm not saying quit your job right away and then, go look for a new job, but if, while you're in your job, you can spend the time looking into different careers that you might want to go into, and try to contact as many people as you can to help you get into that. So for me, like I said before, that I've decided I wanted to go into, the more administrative side than teaching. So I tried to get some college counseling or admissions jobs over the summer, and it just didn't work out, mainly because I don't have experience, and it's like, oh my goodness, like I would get to the final rounds and then they'd pick someone else that had more experience. So I didn't take it as a bad thing, because I actually got a lot of interview experience and learned a lot about the admissions world through the interviewing process. And now I know that I actually really want to do this at this stage of my life. So I'm taking the time that I have now, which I do have a job, I have a teaching job, and you guys know this, I talk about teaching all the time. So I'm using the time now to just prepare myself for that. So everything that I need to do to make myself a more desirable candidate I'm doing right now. So with my teaching, I'm also, that's a good way to practice just speaking in front of people and being able to sell a school, sell an idea. I think it's absolutely great practice. I've also gotten back involved with the alumni interviewing at my alma mater, Columbia University in the city of New York. To put the whole title out. So I've done that. I actually started doing that right after I graduated, but I didn't even think like, hey, hello, trying to get into admissions. Why didn't you put it on your resume? Why don't you get back into it so you can actually say, hey, I do have, a semi-foot in the admissions process right now. So I'm doing that, and I'm also now on the committee, reunion committee for my college, because I'm having my 10-year college reunion next year. So I got on the committee so I can also get experience working on big projects, on big planning committees. So I've taken all these things on because I knew that they'd be attractive, and now that I know what my passion is, I'm trying to do everything I can to make myself a more desirable candidate. So I'm still looking out for jobs, but I know that the majority of the jobs don't really come out until the spring, so at least I have now the whole spring and pretty much half the spring semester and all the fall semester to get myself prepared to do that. And in the meantime, I'm just enjoying my life and teaching, and because I know that I don't want to teach full-time or become a tenure-track professor somewhere, even though I love teaching, it's become a lot more freeing because because it means, as I tell most of my friends, and maybe it doesn't come off correctly, and my mother always talks about, choosing your words, making sure that what you say is exactly what you mean, and, not using the right words, but maybe there being something lost in translation. But as I tell most of my friends, like, the teaching this semester is so much better. I have 2 classes, and it works so much better because I really don't give a fuck. Like, I don't. I'm not worried about what the kids are thinking about me. Let me explain this fully. I'm not worried what they're thinking about me, which was my problem in my first semester teaching at the school I'm at now, is that I was so worried about what the kids were thinking that I was stressing myself out and feeling like really pounding on myself and, being overly critical of my abilities because I felt that I didn't do a good job relaying the information, and I was very scared of looking like I didn't understand something, or if I mispronounced something, I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's, if I didn't know something right at that point, I would be so critical on myself. Like, you're not supposed to know everything. Like, if you don't know something, you just admit it and say, hey, let's look it up together, or I'll give you the answer later. That's fine. And also, at the end of the day, I have way more education and more degrees than these kids because they're only in undergrad, and I already have a graduate degree and a master's degree, now a PhD. So it's like, hello, I mean, you're... what is wrong with you? But that was the problem. I cared so much. And it's not that I don't care about the teaching process and my students. I care very much about their learning process and about them. It's just that I'm less worried about what they think of me and me not, knowing everything, so that it's a lot freeing that when I come to class, I can just talk, and if I, want to, if I don't know something, I can tell them, you know what, I don't know, let's look it up together. Let's learn about this. It's a learning process. Don't trust everything that I say. It's sociology. You're supposed to, question the things around you. And it's been so much more fun and less stressful for the fact that I don't give a fuck. I don't. I'm not trying to do this full time. I'm not looking to get tenure. And tenure doesn't even include teaching. So it's like you don't even have to be a great teacher to get tenure. And don't get me started on that. If you want to hear me rant about academia, I can do that. But... that is the most greatest part about it, is that I realize that I love just interacting with students and just being able to practice it the way that I want to, not be like uptight and, I admit I'm young. I look almost as young as some of my students in my class. I listen to similar music and do similar things and spend as much time on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram probably as they do. And so I don't try to hide that and try to elevate myself. Yes, I do make sure that I dress professionally, and that I make sure that we maintain a professional relationship, but I have no problem losing slang and just cracking jokes and just being myself in the classroom, because I feel like they learn better that way when you act like a real person. And I've always liked classes where I felt like my professors were real people, and because of that, it's been so much more freeing. So I've been trying to find, I think, for ways to get all that together. But again, that's my passion. I like working with students, and that's what I'm pursuing, and whatever avenue that I want to pursue it in is, you know, what I'm going for. So I'm just trying to be the best at all those things and not, you know, lock up a part of me and feel like I'm, you know, selling myself or, you know, not being able to express myself the way I want to. So anyway, that was a long way of saying, if you're, you know, for the Happier series, you know, step number 1 to being happy, find a passion and pursue it. So I would love to see if you guys really like this series, and, you know, please give me some ideas or comments that you have, or is there anything that you're passionate about that you'd like to share with me, and we will dialogue and talk and converse about this. I can't wait to hear you guys and actually have a real discussion about different ways to be happy. I don't think I've ever seen something on YouTube about a Happier series, but that's just me. So anyway, I will see you guys later. Have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy the turkey and the tofurkey and the turducken, which I had one year, which was not as great as I thought, and the lamb and the duck and anything that you're eating and whatever you're doing or whoever you're with. Fully enjoy your Thanksgiving. I feel absolutely blessed to be able to make it to this November and this Thanksgiving, being that this time last year I really did not see a future for myself, and that's depression. I mean, I really didn't see myself living for another year, and that's just really sad, but I'm in a way better place, and I'm happy, and I'm pursuing the things I love, and I hope you guys are doing it too. Happy Thanksgiving. Subscribe, comment, like, share, and I will see you guys later. Bye.